Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to Ascend from Within. So today I'd like to go over my Love and Light Oracle Healing Card deck. I'd like to go over its origin, how this all came to be, the processes that went through to make it, and over an 8-month period, more or less, everything that went into to do this. So I created the channel roughly around the same time, about 8 months ago in October. End of October. Maybe right before that is when I started to realize I was an empath. Realized a lot of these things that are happening to me are real. And I was starting to get things a little bit. I would get like visions. I would start to see like some of these images, but they were not clear and I didn't know what they were, what was going on. So one of the first things that I did get, and it didn't look like this, was this right here. This is now my logo, this right here. When I first got this, this was a triangle, double triangle with a rectangle, but it just didn't look right to me when I had it drawn out. It wasn't complete. And in meditations, I would keep asking, what's missing with this, and I could never really see it clearly. I mean, it's weird. You would see it in your mind, but I couldn't translate it down to paper. When I would try to do that, it wouldn't be clear. As time went on, and how these came to be is I would see these images in my mind, kind of, but I could never get them down. So I started with a notebook, and I would do most of these meditations in my yard, and I would start just drawing what I was feeling. Felt like what was coming through me in a way, and then when it was down on paper, I was like, that's what I see, and I was able to see it. So, like I said, it started with it would be a couple at a time, and I documented, like in this book, like the days, the events, more symbols, as these went on, all the different days, and the sayings that came with them too, to hear. They're all here in like 2 parts of this book. But I would start to document all this. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, what I was documenting, what this was going to be for. But first I got almost all the symbols. Then all of a sudden, when I was out in the yard and I would carry these papers and books, I would start to get like a saying or a name. And what I would do is I would lay these cards out now. Now remember, I just had the symbols, right? And I felt this was to be somehow meant with elements and elementals. So I looked online, I researched, I found a bunch of really nice images that I felt, so I just saved them. And, it's funny because I saved, I think it was 54 images. This card deck is 56. So I basically went with 2 other things that I felt when this was complete, but I just found that very strange. You're getting chills. What are the odds of almost coming up with exactly the amount of what it was going to be also? So this was all different elementals, unicorns, fairies, gnomes, all of that. That's what I felt it to be. So now I had the symbols. So what I would do is in the yard I would meditate, and I would ask what goes with this? And this would come up, and it would happen for each card like that. So I would, this symbol would be represented by these items. So that was like the first part of how that all came. Then it was the writings that came. I would hold the card, meditate with the card, and try and feel anything that would come, and then all of a sudden these things started to come. It a lot of it came at once, and I would be out there and I would just write, and I would write what I felt came to me. And it's funny because I read a lot of these now. I'm like, I don't write like that. So where'd that come from? kind of feeling kind of strange like that. So it started here in the book where I would do all the sayings, the writings. When I would forget the book, I would continue on just regular paper, and I would get these little symbols at times, and then I would get the writings that went with them. And later on, when I had them drawn out on like the loose leaf, then for some reason I felt to draw these out, all these images, on computer paper, like, you know, 8.5 by 11 computer paper. All of these were drawn out. So I did that, and I felt colors that went with them. I felt a gold color for the symbols, like it was a godly color. And I felt the violet as the background, as to me the violet flame is the soaring spirit. So those two just went with it, and that's how I wound up creating this here. This is what I will use for a lot of the healings I'm going to be doing. Okay, it is portraits of these images, these geometric images. So I feel these are meant for healing. So time goes on. I keep meditating with these to see, and I started getting, you know, I knew it was going to be sound. I healed myself with sound using a machine, the Namaste PCM6. So I believe in sound therapy and healing, and I just was drawn to like the tuning forks. Funny, I resonate with them, and so I got certified in that, and I feel these cards ought to be used with that. So I feel 3 to 5 cards ought to be drawn and placed on certain parts of the body to be used with the forks. Now, along with this, also, for me anyway, this is a chart I have for each crystal, for each card, and what's to be used in like the healings in that. So these portraits are to be put down, the crystal on top, and in some cases, sprays, aromas are to be used also. And all to be used in healing. In some cases, it may just be the images. In some cases, it may not even be the images. It may be the sprays, or you know, whatever I feel, intuitively feel is going to help the person, what is meant to help the person. But to me, it's like these portraits are made, and the crystals are used to like unlock a healing, and through the sound vibration, which is what images are, geometric shapes, it's all sound and vibration, will resonate for healing. So this is my feeling of what they're meant to do. Now, I believe they're meant for more. I don't know exactly what yet, but I keep meditating on it. I just have that feeling. So I don't know. It could be years from now. It could be a day from now where I will start feeling or getting something what these are for, what else are they meant for. But for now, this is what I'm going to be using them for. So this was the initial set created, like I said. So from there, I created, meshed in some artwork for like a cover for these, this deck, and of course in the back. So this type of deck I'm going to be using for myself because the images I got online pretty much for these. I really like them, and I just feel I resonate with them with the cards. They look beautiful. I may offer these privately, you know, down the road. I don't know. I may not make any more of them. I just love these. The artwork on them is fantastic, and they just resonate with me. I just love them. So this was the set that I had basically made for me. So I wanted to make these because I felt they were made to be used for other people as well, and other people to use. And everything like hit me. It came to me more or less on my anniversary of my love, who passed away. And so this is what I came up with. It's Marianne. I grabbed images of Marianne and I made her into like a fairy, an elf, a queen, a priestess, um, just like an elemental. And she's in each deck now, and she will work with me and through me in healing, which is what she loved. She wanted to be of service to others. She always was a sweet, kind soul. She was a social worker, and all she wanted to do was help people. She was just like in the start of her career of doing this, and she was taken away. And I want her to live on, and I want her to live on through me, and I feel she is, and I feel this is all meant to be this way. There are no coincidences. I always say this, and the timing, everything. So this is dedicated to Marianne. I have a booklet also that I created. I'm having printed, and the booklet will basically be a dedication to her in the beginning, and then it'll have the writings on the cards inside, and the little tiny picture of each symbol through the book. And then it'll have a description on how to use. Now, like I said, I believe these are meant to be used for healing, sound healing. For me, using tuning forks, maybe you can use sound bowls also, and crystals, sprays, aromas, and the portraits or the cards themselves with a fork over them to bring in the healing, to resonate the healing. And it's to be done intuitively. So like I say, like I have this created too, the cards and the crystals for them, but I believe it's to be done intuitively by each person. So whoever gets this deck, to use it that way. You could also use these cards each day for an affirmation by pulling each one. And, like I said, this is the cover. You might be able to see it better with Marianne on it. And it's also got the Mago tree. The Mago tree is from a retreat I went on right around this time also. And I felt amazing energies from this tree. When I first went up to it and I leaned on it, I felt like I was passing through it. The energies from it, it was like it being in a different area, a different field type feeling, almost a lightheaded type feeling, and it just had so much energy within it. And just the imagery of this in here, I think it really came out really nice. I was kind of taken back by like what I created with it. It just fit perfectly. So this is kind of an origin of how this came to be. It was like over a long period of time. A lot of work went into this. A lot of time, a lot of effort, and I find it to be a gift. It's a gift from above, or a gift from spirit to me. A year ago, 2 years ago, I would never even think of anything like this. I mean, I was part of the Truth of movement, and all the things that are going on for the past 30, 40 years. I've been involved with like Awake With and trying to awaken people too. But her passing reawakened something in me, something I lost as a child and thought I was actually crazy as a child for seeing all these things and feeling all these things. And then her passing brought it back. And this is real, people. This stuff is real. I believe a lot more people are awakening now and are becoming aware. I believe it's meant to be at this time for a lot of people too. And hopefully soon I'm going to be offering these. I'm going to try and be a vendor at a fair. I'm shooting for November, and I'll offer these and maybe some other products, things that I make. And it's going to be like my start from there. From there, like I said, I'm certified in tuning forks, and it's part of what I want to do. I want to help. I want to help in healing. I believe Reiki, I'm going to start learning and get into that. I feel I'm being compelled to like learn that and get into that more. And just know too, like being of service to others and wanting to help. It doesn't have to mean a big grand scale, people out there. just helping someone next door to you, helping an old lady, um, anything, helping a little kid, helping an animal, helping a bird, anything outside, you know, is what spirit wants. It's love one another, show love, kindness towards one another, show gratitude, show thanks, be grateful for everything that you have in your life, and just love. So, hence, love and light. So that's pretty much an origin, a history of how this came to be, the amount of time it took, what I have. I will always keep documentation on this of all the things that I wrote, drew throughout the time, and just looking back at how much work it was to actually do this. And now it's got a chance to be out there and help others and see what happens in time. I wish you love and light, much happiness. Have a great day. Love you all. Namaste.